Hi, I'm Sheila Heelan, and welcome to the Happiness Series.
Hi, this is Scott with Happiness Series, and we're going to be doing a cooking show today. We're focused on doing a great tasting hamburger with a couple of wonderful sides that are going to be very healthy and delicious. So let's get to cooking. We're going to start with some grass-fed beef, and while you can use whether it be bison or 100% grass-fed beef, the important thing is that the meat that you're using is not corn-fed, because that's where you kind of get into the problems, extra fat, those type of things. It's very lean, but because of the ingredients and the way we're putting it together, you're not going to lose any of the tastes, which is kind of exciting. We're going to be adding some mushrooms, and we're using white mushrooms. You can use portobello, you can use shiitake, whatever your personal palate would like. Regular yellow onion, and then also some garlic. And so I'm going to start to do a little mise en place, and I'll show you how to put this thing together. All right, well, let's go ahead and get started. What we use for the recipe is basically 1 onion, 8 ounces of mushrooms, and actually we're going to use 1 egg to kind of put all of the mixture together, and that is for 1 package of ground beef or buffalo, and that's going to be about 16 ounces for that, so basically a pound. We've got a dinner party, so we're kind of doubling the recipe right now. So I'm going to go ahead and get started with the onions, because those take the longest to cook, and I'm going to chop those up, again using 2 of those. And I am not a professional chef, so you'll have to bear with me with this. But the important thing is that you're getting all of the brown parts off of the onions. And you're going to make sure that these are going to be very finely chopped, because the mixture going with the mushrooms and also with the meat needs to be as finely as possible so it'll stick together. If the pieces are too big, it will completely fall apart. So I'm going to make sure that this is very, very finely chopped. Great, so we're all set, done cutting the onions, and what we're going to do is just start kind of cooking these down a little bit. And one thing to note is that the ingredients that we're using are all organic. So what we try to do is get everything that doesn't have pesticides, herbicides, and antibiotics in there, whether that obviously is from the meat or even onions, even like really basic stuff like that. It all counts. So we try to go 100% organic when you can. And it's an investment in your health, health insurance. So it's something that we always do. So what we're going to do is just go ahead and cook down the onions. We're going to use a little salt. And I've kind of measured this out already, but basically we're using about 1 tablespoon of salt for every pound of beef. And then pepper to taste. Some people like pepper, some people use white pepper, so whatever works for you. And we're going to let this simmer down. In the meantime, I'm going to get chopping some mushrooms. Again, mushrooms, because they are kind of springy, and they will cook down, we need to make sure that they're very, very finely cut. Otherwise, they will not stick with the mixture of meat and onions and garlic. All right, I wish you could smell this. This is just wonderful. The garlic that we just put in, and we've got the onions to golden brown. And what we're going to do now is go ahead and fold in all of the mushrooms. And again, this is still just the prep before we do anything else with the actual meat. The meat that we get is usually frozen, whether it be the bison or the 100% grass-fed. But we try to let that defrost in the refrigerator. Talk to your grocer about how you want to do that as far as proper food handling. You always want to make sure you do that as well. So what we're going to do is turn up the heat a little bit. Cook these down. I've used about 2 tablespoons of olive oil to cook all of this mixture down. So you'd be using 1 tablespoon for just a regular pound of meat. Usually we do about 1/4 pounders, as they say. But with the ingredients, that definitely adds to the outflow. So we're probably going to get about 12 to 14 hamburgers, or basically 6 hamburgers for a pound of meat plus the mixture. I always throw in a little secret ingredient, which is unsalted butter. And I use about a 1/4 of a stick for the recipe, so I'm going to actually use a 1/3 of a stick. And I believe that just adds a lot of flavor with the mushrooms. You still have the oil in there, you've got the olive oil, but everything together, I mean, butter is just good stuff. 100% fat, your body needs it. You'll notice that there's no sugars added to any of this. So that's really kind of the important thing as far as moving forward with a nutritious meal. High fat, low sugar. All right, well, we have the mushrooms cooked down really nicely. So we've got a lot of that water out of them. You can see it's half the size of what it was before. And I'm not trying to cook these all the way through because I'm going to need to add this to the meat mixture. So what I'm going to do now is take it off of the stove and I'm going to put it into a larger bowl so that I can combine the meat. We're going to go ahead and add the meat in here, and then this is the only way I know how to do it. You just have to get in there and literally push it all together, the whole mixture. And what I found is that without a little binding agent, this will not stick together. So what we're going to do is once we get this fairly mixed in, we're also going to add the secret ingredient, the egg. A little bit of the protein in there, right in there, and then you go. And again, because this is a double recipe, I'm going to be using 2 eggs. And what this does is, again, just kind of help everything bind together so that when you make these patties, they will stick together. They're almost here. So let's go ahead and grab the patties. And I have put them in the refrigerator again so they will remain in one piece, nice and cold. Good food handling quality. I've already done the cooking and the cutting for the hamburgers. We'll be toasting the buns pretty soon. And what we're going to do now is we're going to cook the burgers. I like to use cast iron skillet. It's an old style type of thing, but you get a little extra iron in that. Of course, if you can do it on a grill outside, I love doing that. It's about 15 degrees outside right now, so we're going to stick with the skillet. And away we go. Let's cook these things up.
Why do you say that?
Cooking good, yeah. Big bite.
Let's put the whole thing together.
Wow, Scott, that's a good bite.
How about
It's all worth the effort.
Okay.
You must like it, huh?
Luca, mangia.